All right. Thanks so much for joining me. We're going to do a nice restorative relaxation yoga sequence today. So we're not even going to stand up off the mat. We're going to stay pretty low to the ground. If you don't have a mat, you can feel free to use a towel or just get on some ground that feels okay to sit on and lay on. So carpet, maybe, just get creative. It's okay. You don't have to have a bunch of props to make this work. I would recommend potentially having a pillow or something to use, also optional, but just something that you could use as well. We're going to start off with some breathing. So first, we're going to have a nice, easy seat, grounding into the floor, noticing where your hips make contact with the floor, where the feet make contact with the floor, feeling the gentle support of the ground beneath you. Shoulders dropping away from the ears. Palms can be down or up. Hands can be in the lap or in whatever position is peaceful, calming, and grounding to you. And let's breathe together. Start by breathing in through the nose, sending air all the way down, and then exhaling. Breathing in through the nose, and exhale. Breathing in one more time, all the way down to the bottom of the lungs, and exhale. Take 3 more breaths at your own breath pace, noticing the rise and fall of your chest. Once you've finished your breaths, you're going to do a little bit of movement here. I want you to take your right hand, set it to the side on the floor, and just start to slide it out. And bring the left arm up and over towards the ear. You're going to press into that right hand while leaning over, opening up the left side of the body. Watch the shoulder, make sure it's not scrunched up near the ear. We want nice, broad, open shoulders. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can by just sliding that hand out a little further. Ground through the left hip. We want both hips coming in contact with the ground. And watch the breath here. Flip the palm up, windmill. The arms back and down. We're going to slide that left hand out, bringing the right hand up and over, keeping some space between the shoulder and the ear. Pressing into the left hand while leaning with the right arm, opening up the right side of the body. Keep the shoulder blade wrapped onto the back, no collapsed shoulders. Great job. And flip those hands back down. We're windmilling them. What we're going to do now is we're going to uncross those legs and bring them out to the side, coming into a tabletop position, pressing down into the wrists, which are stacked directly below the shoulders. The knees are directly below the hips. Go ahead and do some side to sides. The tops of the feet are making contact with the ground. It's a tabletop. You imagine you're making a little table. And what we're going to do is we're going to inhale, dropping the belly down, gazing straight ahead. And when we exhale, we're going to press into the floor, pushing the ground away, and arch the back, chin towards the chest. Inhale, dropping the belly, gazing ahead, cow pose. Exhale, arching the back, chin to chest for cat pose. I want you to do several of these at your own breath cycle. Inhaling, dropping the belly. Exhaling, arching the back. Press into the fingertips here. We don't want all the weight on the wrist. Awesome. Do one more round of this. And then come back into a neutral spine. What we're going to do is we're going to lift up the left arm into the air, gaze up at the arm, then you're going to send that left arm through the space between your right arm and your right leg. It's called threading the needle. Your right wrist and your knees stay exactly where they are. You're just going to lay down on that left shoulder. Let me say this too. All of these poses are just suggestions. If something feels weird in your body, you certainly do not have to do a pose. You can come out of it whenever you need to, or you can modify the pose however you need to as well. Sink into the floor here, making your body heavy. And slowly unwind, bringing that left wrist back under the left elbow. Same thing, other side. We're going to lift up the right hand, sending it into the air, threading the needle. We're going to lay down on that right shoulder. Adjust however you need to. And slowly start to come back out of it, readjusting yourself into the tabletop. What we're going to do now is I want you to take your knees as wide as your towel or your mat. If you don't have one, just take them nice and wide. Sit your hips back onto your heels. Feel free to use a blanket here if you need to have some more support. Slide those arms out and away, forehead to the ground, coming into child's pose. If this feels a little bit too much, you can walk those feet in to where the knees are touching. Melt into the floor here. Watch your breath. If your mind wanders, that's okay. we're going to do now is we're going to push ourselves back up. Bring the knees towards the hands, cross the shins, sink back onto the hips, and down we go. Slowly rolling down, one vertebrae at a time onto the ground. What we're going to do here is we're going to firmly place those feet on the floor. You're going to tuck your shoulder blades underneath your shoulders. Hands can be down to the side, or I like to do robot arms for this one. So you've got your little robot arms. And what we're going to do is we're just going to peel the hips up off the ground. Now, you can hold it like this if you would like, or I'm going to pretend this is my pillow. You could stick a pillow underneath your hips and rest. So we're going to hold this one for a while. So if you are not using a supportive device like a pillow, then just feel free to slowly lower whenever you need to. If you would like to use a pillow, go ahead and place it under the hips, robot arms, and just stay here. Press into the soles of the feet. Long neck here. And breathe. And again, feel free to come out of the pose whenever you need to. Keep those nice, deep, even breaths. And slowly, slowly roll down. Again, one vertebrae at a time, bringing those hips back down to the ground. Beautiful. What we're going to do now is we're going to extend the left leg, stretch the right leg into the sky, and maybe flex and point here. Flexing and pointing. You can interlace the fingers and put them behind the thigh. Maybe doing some circles with the foot. And maybe circles the other way. And just gently pull back on the leg. Keep a bend in the knee. A little bend. Or a lot of bend. Doesn't matter. And while we're here, go ahead and just gently lower that leg out to the side. Now, if that's not accessible to you, you can bend the knee and let the knee fall to the side. We're giving ourselves a little hip massage here. Gently bring that leg up. And we're going to drop it over across the body. If you're out of space, you can just use the knee bent. Notice if you have any tension, if you're flexing anything, let's release if we can. And bring the foot back up. Beautiful. Massaging the hip joint. We're just going to do some little knee circles. Awesome. Bring the knee back to neutral. Slowly float that foot down. You know what's next. Bring in the left leg up, interlacing the fingers behind the left thigh, flexing and pointing. And doing some little circles. circles the other direction. And dropping that leg, to the outside first. I got ahead of myself. I'm out of space, so I'm going to bend the knee. You can keep your leg straight if you want. Ground for the right hip. Nice external rotation in the hip here. We're opening up the hips. You're going to feel really nice if you have really tight hips. Bringing the knee back to center. And with leg bent or straightened, dropping that leg over to the side. We hold stress in our bodies. And yoga is a great way to release some of that held stress from our bodies. Beautiful. Bring that leg back up, little knee circles here. Awesome. And what we're going to do, leave that left knee up. We're going to bring the right knee to meet it. And we're going to take the right ankle on top of the left knee, interlace behind the left thigh, gently pull. You're in a reclined figure four. So like you're sitting cross-legged a little bit, ankle on the knee, pulling back on the left thigh. This is actually a really great booty stretch. And if you can't move your feet into this position, you can just hug the knees. That's okay. And release. Back down to the ground. Bring the right foot back to meet the left. Awesome. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and put the left ankle on the right knee. Lift up the right foot, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, and gently pull back. Same thing that we did, but on the other side. Take a moment to become aware of your breathing again. And invite some deeper breaths here. Go ahead and drop that foot on down to the ground. Awesome. See what we're going to do now? We're going to do a little twist. So go ahead and scooch those hips 2 inches to the left. Drop the knees to the right. Arms can extend out to the side, or you can do cactus arms. And if available, go ahead and look over that left shoulder. Bring the head back to center. Draw the knees up back to center as well. Reset those hips. And same thing other side. Scoot the hips 2 inches to the right. Drop the knees to the left. Arms can be extended out or up above in cactus arm. And gaze over the right shoulder. If you want, you can hold a pillow between your legs here. If you've got low back stuff, that will help. Or you can use a pillow under your knees to support as well. Go ahead and bring those knees up. Reset the head back to neutral. Hips are now back to neutral as well. And we're going to go ahead and extend those legs out. Let the feet fall away. Arms down to the side. You can have palms to the ground if you want a more grounded experience, or palms can be facing up if you want a more open experience. And use the pillow under your head, under your low back, under your feet, under your knees. Use a blanket on top. Roll up a blanket. Use it for support. Go crazy. I'm going to give you about 10 seconds to adjust however you need. And while you do that, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do a little meditation today. And what's going to happen is I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. And what you're going to do is you're just going to watch your thoughts. You're going to watch your thoughts. And I want you to imagine that you're in a very safe boat on the ocean. And every thought that you have is like a wave that your boat just kind of gently rides over. No tsunamis here, no giant waves, no capsizing, very safe, very secure boat. And every thought is like a little wave, and just let your boat ride the wave and then go back to the ocean as stillness. It doesn't matter if you have a million thoughts in 2 minutes, just let your boat ride each thought like a wave. And just sit back and notice what it is that you're thinking about. No judgment. There's nothing right or wrong about thoughts. They're just thoughts. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to sit in your boat and watch the waves. Go ahead and start doing some gentle little movements, maybe rubbing the fingers with the thumb, wiggling the toes, whatever kind of small movements that you need to make as we exit this time together. If your eyes were closed, you may flutter them open. We're going to slowly transition, so take all the time you need, but gently roll onto one side. And when you're ready, slowly come up to a seated position. Reflect for a moment what you might have noticed about your thoughts. If there's a common theme, something that keeps showing up. And notice it without judgment. Thoughts are neither good nor bad. They are just thoughts. Don't assign goodness or badness to them. Simply notice them and let them move on like a wave floating away from you. Bring your attention back to your body, how it feels, if there's any sensations. And now finally bring your attention back to your breath. Carry this sense of peace with you as you go forth from this practice. Thank you so much for doing yoga with me. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. See you later.